You cannot trust your memories. And we're going to be looking at exactly why that is so. And we're going to be talking a little bit about neuroscience in this video. But most importantly, we're going to look at why you don't need to let your past control where you are today, who you are today, and above all, where you're going. And unfortunately, this is something that almost all of us do, because we equate who we are with where we come from, our environment, the decisions, our past experiences, that bridge of incident that led us exactly where we are today. And so we identify very strongly and deeply our identity, our self-image with our past. And we think of ourselves as a product of our past experiences. And to some extent, of course, because our habits, the way we think emotionally, mentally, the way we make decisions, all of these come from a place, come from somewhere, come from our past experiences. But we are not slaves. We are not victims. We are not, bound to it forever. And when you understand how your memories are not the truth of what you think actually happened, this becomes even more important. Because we assume that what we remember of our past, our experiences, is true and is valid, and therefore this is why I am where I am. But what if it's not the case? What if every time you change your memory, every time you think about it, you are changing your memory, you're changing your past, you're changing your perception of what actually happened? And so what you think happened in the past, today, is actually different than what actually really unfolded. How crazy would that be? Well, neuroscience has shown us that every time you think of a memory, you change it slightly, you distort it slightly. And so today we know scientifically that the memories that you have of your past are not what actually happened. They're only a distorted version based on the lenses that we have today. So when you think of a memory, whatever the memory is, whether it's good or bad, or when you talk about it or you share something, you change it every time. You use different words, different stories, you think about it a bit differently, it's changed by your mood, your attitude of the day, where you are, what's happened. And overall, you end up with a byproduct, a new memory that we created over time that is actually quite different than what really happened. What's really mind-fucking is that we think it is absolutely true and this is exactly what happened. And so the shocking study that they did is actually with eyewitness that goes on trial and court and things like that, in order to say okay, this is what I saw, and bring those testimonies kind of thing. Well, according to the research they did, 70% of eyewitness who swear, right, this is what I saw, this is the truth, 70% of eyewitness are proven wrong by DNA, by cameras, by tangible, provable facts. So it's not that people are lying or making things up, they're just recalling to the best of their ability and sharing truthfully what they remember. But what they remember and what actually happened is two different things. And police know very well that when a person gives a testimony now, let's say today, something happened yesterday, and you give a testimony today, if they ask you again 6 months from now, the testimony will be quite different. And again, it's not that the person are lying, they're just remembering it differently. And they think it is exactly what happened, because we never doubt the way we remember things. But think about this to the extent of your own ability, to the extent of your own story. Because you probably heard the things, I am who I am because of who I am. We all have a past, we all have a story. And it's true. But who created the story? Who told the new story? Who is actually conscious of the way they're telling the story? Because most of us, they use our past as a way to make excuses, to blame, to justify or rationalize why we are where we are, or why we're not doing certain things. And every time we do that, we reinforce certain stories, certain narrative, and we actually condition ourselves to remain more of the same in that state. But that story is probably not exactly the truth. It's probably massively distorted based on your state and what fits your purpose today. And when you truly understand that, it becomes like, shit, I have the power to choose the story I tell about myself. And I can either make it into a victim story, I can make it into an empowering story. The choice is mine. And when I work with clients, sometimes they resist this because they feel like, yeah, but if I change the story, would that make me fake? Would that be in denial? Would that be, like what would happen to me, kind of thing? Because they're so identified with the way they've been telling their story for so long that they're afraid of what might happen when they change the story. And this is not a right, wrong, good, or bad thing. It's just understanding what neuroscience tells us today. Regardless of what story you used to tell and you're telling right now, you are changing your past every time you tell the story differently. You cannot help it. And so extensively, you're not really based on what happened in the past, but you are living the lie upgraded vision that you created in your own imagination. The only question that matters is this working for you? Because if it is, then awesome. But if it's not, and if you're struggling, and if you are constantly one of those people who are trying to heal yourself or fix all your traumas and baggage and release and heal, so many people are stuck in this forever trying to fix their trauma, trying to forever do shadow work. But they don't realize that the only shadow they need to heal is that they think they're broken. And that's the shadow that perpetuates the, oh my God, I need to fix myself. But if you stop telling yourself you're broken, if you stop telling yourself you need to fix yourself, if you stop telling yourself why you're so the way you are, what would happen if you change the story about yourself? It's yours. You own it. And you are the creator, the director, and the actor. And you can choose to live whatever story. You don't need to let your past control you because it has no control over you. It's only your identification with it that has control over you. The moment you release it, it's gone because it doesn't even exist anymore. The only way it exists is because you perpetuate it through your own energy and attention. So as you let it go and you choose to tell the story differently, you choose to see yourself not as a victim but as a hero, not as a somebody who's broken or whatever, but somebody who's empowered, who's loving life, who's striving, who's going places, it can change everything for you. So if you're not living a vision of the future, you will live based on a predictable past, and your life will be highly predictable. So what is your story today? And what is your new story? As always, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Be well.